So the F Joe Biden chants just keep on coming. Now, as enjoyable as these chants have been, and I have personally really enjoyed them, I think they're funny as hell, I love it. It has brought up kind of a question of, aren't we supposed to be the party of, you know, being calm and civil, right? Isn't Republicans usually the civil party? And you're starting to see a lot of comments pop up under a lot of stuff saying, yeah, you know, real family-friendly stuff you got over there. You know, oh yeah, this is great for our political dialogue. And so a lot of people are asking themselves, you know, is this what we want the Republican Party to be? Do we want the Republican Party, or just, you know, let's just say the right in general? Because a lot of us we don't really like the Republicans that much either, right? A lot of us basically see them, you know, Democrats and Republicans kind of one and the same for the most part. So let's just say those of us on the right. Are those of us on the right, are we comfortable? Are we comfortable with seeing this type of behavior happen? Now, what I would argue is turnabout is fair play. The left has been doing this for much longer, right? They were calling us Nazis and fascists. Now, I'm sorry, I think calling someone a Nazi is way worse than just saying F you, right? When I say, you know, F you, there really isn't any underlining message behind that. I just don't like you. That's the only message there. When I call you a Nazi, I'm implying that you're one of the worst that humanity has to offer. I'm saying that you are just the bottom of the freaking barrel. I am just really making a lot of accusations as to your belief about how the world works that is just disastrous for your reputation. When I just say F you, that doesn't really mean anything other than I don't like you. So I'm willing to say that calling someone a Nazi is far worse than swearing at them. It just really is. And the left has been doing that for, obviously, decades now. They call it, don't forget, as much as they say they like George Bush now, they hated George Bush. They called him a Nazi back then. They called George Bush a Nazi. Then they said, of course, McCain was a Nazi. Then they said Romney was a Nazi. And then, of course, Trump says, you know, shows up. They say he's a Nazi, and he says F you. And they get all offended. Right? The left has been calling us Nazis for quite a while with no basis in reality, obviously. And now they're offended that people are saying F you, Joe Biden, saying, oh, well, that's really good for the political discourse. I'm willing to say that saying F you is better political discourse than saying you're a Nazi or you're a fascist without actual evidence behind what you're saying. And as we've definitely seen, if anyone was the fascist at this point, you know, the left actually using, you know, the government to suppress the rights of the people in places like Australia. You know, Australia is fascist. We understand this now. Australia is full of a bunch of jackboot thugs who are sent there oppressing their people. That is actual fascism. We can call that out. But just to say, hey, you know what, I disagree with you, you're a fascist, that is a major, just, it's a major offense. It just really is. It devolves our political dialogue way more than any curse word ever could. And again, turnabout is fair play at the end of the day. You know, it's not, you know, if someone walked up to you, let's just put it this way. If someone walked up to you and punched you in the face, and you went, what the hell, and punched them back, I'm not going to get angry at you. I'm not going to go, dude, what are you doing? I'm going to look at that dude and say, well, he deserved it. So Joe Biden and the left has been saying all these terrible things, and they come out and say, you know, F Joe Biden, F Joe Biden. Well, I'm not going to be upset at the crowd saying F Joe Biden. They weren't the ones who started this. No, the other side started it. Why am I going to be upset with the people who are just fighting back at this point with what's left to them? Because let's face it, there's not really a lot left to these people. You know, you can't sit there and go on social media that much anymore, because if you say one wrong thing, you'll get banned. I got a strike on my channel for saying something that it was accurate as to what happened to me when I went and voted last year in this, or not last year, but well, yeah, around last year in the election. I got a strike on my channel for saying a fact, a story that actually directly happened to me. I got a strike for it. All right, people are being banned off social media, so where do they have to actually voice their opinion? Well, in some places, they're barely able to protest anymore because of different mandates and lockdowns. So, of course, they're finding different avenues to express their opinions. How am I supposed to be angry at that? How am I supposed to be that upset about it? Do I like it? Not really. I don't really like just cussing out people. I don't really care for it. But am I going to be upset if you do it? Not really. I'm just not. It's the same goes for stuff like the January 6th riot. And again, I disagree with that. I do not like the fact people went there and rioted. I don't like the fact that they did destroy certain aspects of the Capitol by breaking in windows and destroying some art. Kind of inadvertently, but still they did, and I don't like that. I just really don't. With that said, Just months prior to that, you had Black Lives Matter literally burning down freaking churches. All right, the president had to go into in the bunker below the White House. So when you have riots in the street, buildings on fire, stuff like the federal building in Portland being bombed almost daily, you really expect me to be that upset that some idiots just stormed the Capitol on January 6th? I'm not. I can't be that upset over it. I'm not saying I agree with it. I disagree with it, but I can't be that upset about it. I had people calling me during January 6th riot saying, "Oh my God, do you see what's on the news? Do you see what's happening?" It's like, yeah, no, it's kind of crazy, right? And I'm like, yeah, no, this is totally unheard of. Totally unheard of? What are you talking about? Black Lives Matter shut down the entire city multiple times. The Women's March shut down the city. The Women's March stormed the Capitol and actually broke down a couple doors. That was the Women's March, for God's sake. I wasn't really that offended by what happened at the Capitol, strictly because it was happening almost like once every half year, basically, going on for 4 years straight. How am I supposed to be that upset when a right-wing group does it one time versus a left-wing group has been doing it repeatedly over and over and over and over? I'm not saying I agree with it. All I'm saying is I'm done caring. I'm just done. Also, I'm going to put it this way too. Private property is more sacred to me than government property, all right? It's just the way it is. Private property is the property of the people who are struggling, people like you and me, right? The government property, that's the property of the elites. They can call it the people's house and all that stuff all they want. No, it's the house of the elites. We know who really is in there, all right? We know the lobbyists, we know the politicians. They're the ones who are really running the scenes out there. So when that gets attacked, when the house of the elites get attacked, I'm less angry than when, of course, Black Lives Matter goes and burns down someone's business. All right, burning down a poor business in the middle of an inner city to me is far more offensive than a couple people broke some windows at the White House, or not White House, but Capitol building, and then just walked around. Right? They just walked around. They barely did anything. And to be honest, they didn't really do much. I'm having a hard time being too upset at people attacking the Capitol when just beforehand everyone was defending the people who are burning down people's livelihoods, right? Burning down people's livelihoods, shooting people in the street, mind you. That is far worse than what happened in the Capitol. All right, what happened in Minneapolis is worse than what happened at the Capitol. What happened in the Black Lives Matter rally that took place just months before in DC was way worse than what happened in January 6th. It's just how it is. So when people say, hey, all these people, chanting F Joe Biden, doesn't that make you hypocrites? Hey, storming the Capitol, doesn't that make the right hypocrites? No, it doesn't. Because I can say, guess what? I can say all day long, I don't like violence. I just want people to get along. And, I just, peace and love, kind of hippie-ish. I don't know. I just want people to kind of get along and just get over it. Just leave me alone. Yet at the same time, if someone comes and punches me in the face, I can punch them without being a hypocrite. I can punch them back without being a hypocrite. I can defend myself and not be a hypocrite when I say I don't like violence. So these people who are sitting there doing this stuff like F Joe Biden and all that stuff, do I like it? No, not really. I really don't. I'm sorry, guys. I know a lot of you are out there celebrating it. I think it's funny. I do think it's funny. But do I really care for it? No, I like talking about stuff. I just like having conversations with people. But a lot of these people, their ability to have conversations has been destroyed because of course what social media has. A lot of them probably banned all social media and things like that, or they can't say what they really think on social media at the very least. So I got nothing against them. I just don't. At the end of the day, turnabout's fair play. You get what you asked for, left. Left, they sat there and said constantly, you're Nazis, you're deplorables. You had the whole video the left put out of the little children cursing out Trump, directed of them cursing out Trump, saying F Trump and stuff like that. I think that was way worse than anything happening at a sporting event. At a sporting event, you hear a lot of F-bombs and stuff. It's just the way it goes, right? I'm done caring. I really am. I'm just done caring that if the right starts, not being as civil as they once were. I mean, at some point you kind of, I guess, gotta stop. I don't know. I'm going to try to keep being civil the best I can. But of course, what do you think? I mean, should the right, go back to we're the civil ones, or should we, of course, be more kind of in their face, saying, you know what, F you, and everything you're doing. We don't like you. We don't like what you've been doing. We don't like the way you've been treating us, so we're going to treat you the same way you've been treating us. I guess I'm a little bit in the middle. I keep kind of going back and forth on that one. But what do you think? And of course, if you have enjoyed this video, leave a like. It really does help out a lot. And hey, if you haven't already, subscribe. Try and do daily videos on weekdays. So if you enjoyed this video, we'll be putting out some more. Either way, thanks so much for watching, and we'll be talking again real soon.